everyone, and welcome back to another episode in our series of Seven Stones Shorts 10 Reasons to Invest in Indonesia. In this episode, we'll be going into the third reason out of the top 10 reasons. If you haven't listened to the 2 episodes of this series, we recommend tuning into that before listening to this podcast. Otherwise, let's get into reason number 3 of the 10 reasons to invest in Indonesia. Reason number 3 being that 90 million people expected to join the middle class by 2030. We talked a little bit about this, I think, in the first episode.
Yeah.
I think one sort of perfect example on that, I used to work for a shopping mall in Jakarta called Pasaraya, and when I was young and you were a little kid, that was about the only big shopping center together with 1 or 2 others existing in Jakarta. And then just towards 2003, 2004, there was more and more projects emerging. And if you go to Jakarta today, I don't know, there's 50, there's 100 huge malls, and they're all driven towards the growing middle class of Indonesia. I think me and Andy talked about this way back when we started doing business together here in Bali in 2000, and God, it's a long time ago, 2005, something like that.
Oh, it was almost the last century.
Yeah, it was almost the last century. And then the drive for real estate in Bali was all based on, get the Australians, get the expats from Singapore and Hong Kong and so on. And that was the sort of focus of all the different companies here. But I think we managed to shift that and say, well, we're in Indonesia, and Indonesia has a massive economy and potential. And today we see that the main market also in Bali, in terms of tourism, I think Andy mentioned in one of our earlier blogs too, but also in terms of investment into villas and properties and so on, is mainly driven by Indonesians.
I mean, that number, say the number again? Was it 90 million?
90 million people expected to join.
That's 90 million.
Yeah.
What's the population of Australia?
20 million. So it's 4.5, almost
so it's
5
4.5 times the population of, and what's the population of the UK? It's like 50 something.
50, 60, so it's half
So
of that.
it's a crazy number. And if that doesn't kind of turn investors on, then maybe they shouldn't really be investing, because the opportunity is massive.
Yeah, and also in the article, you talk about how if McKinsey's forecast is correct, that today approximately 75 million Indonesians, which is about 28%, earn more than the national average income. And that's already, going back on the numbers you just mentioned before, more so than the populations of other countries.
Yeah.
I think also the Indonesians are hungry for experiences, hungry for, lifestyle experiences, traveling, and so on and so on. And we see this in Bali, we see this in Jakarta. Maybe not that obvious now with COVID and what goes on with the world, but prior to that, and I'm sure when it starts coming back now, you'll see that, that Indonesians are making more money, the middle class is growing, and they're spending it. And one point again, when we keep repeating this, annoying people, but these aspects are factual. You cannot argue them. They are happening. So again, people say, "Oh no, it's Indonesian. It's different." It's not. It's happening. You can see these trends and these graphics and these different indexes and measurements they use to put this together. There's no doubt that this is taking place.
Didn't you remember we a while ago we were looking at the amount of air travel that was going on? Do you remember that conversation? We were looking at AirAsia and CityLink and Garuda, and one of them, I can't remember.
A couple of 100 million air travels every year, yes.
It's a
Domestically in Indonesia.
huge number of people travelling across Indonesia. Obviously not now, but then, a year ago.
Nice. So the middle class and a huge, rising middle class is definitely something to look forward to for investors and the people of Indonesia in general.
I think, again, we keep repeating this to in our industry, tourism and real estate investments, and people sort of, I want to sell to expat and so on. It's just difficult and wrong. Your focus needs to be on the Indonesian market simply because you're in Indonesia. There is developers from Middle East, Europe, and so on coming in, talking to us, saying, how can you help us sell our products to the Indonesian middle class and rich and famous, because they know it's huge. So we're not very smart if we don't grab those opportunities and drive our businesses towards that potential as the main market.
Okay. Thank you so much for your insight, Terry and Andy. This has been reason number 3 in our series of short episodes, 10 Reasons to Invest in Indonesia. Make sure you keep a lookout for the next episode to find out reason number 4 of the 10 Reasons to Invest in Indonesia.